Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today we're going to be talking about the romance that's in the air. Well, here's the thing. Spooky season's right around the corner, and I know that everyone's getting prepared for it. A lot of people are already jumping into horror movies. I'm doing the same thing myself, just a little bit, but for some reason, when I was sick the last week and a half or so, I decided to watch some romantic films. I think I on accident had been watching a few of these, and I just got a hankering for it. So I wanted to jump into this and started watching some of this a little bit more and more. So today I want to talk about 9 films that I decided to watch and talk about each one of them and maybe give some recommendations here if you've never seen these films before, and talk about some romance. So September is for romance, and that's how I've kind of associated this last couple weeks for at least until we jump into October, which will be spooky season. So be prepared for that when we jump into that. But yeah, I want to know, what have you been watching in the last couple weeks as we're ending out September? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also, do you think that September could be possibly just a month of romance? That would be a lot of fun if that started kicking off, but who knows? So let's jump into the films that I watched. All right, so the first film we're going to be talking about is one that I was peer pressured into watching because my friends wouldn't shut up about it, and I'm talking, of course, about the film Summertime, but directed by David Lean, and of course we have Katharine Hepburn as our main character here. So Katharine Hepburn is taking a little vacation away from America, all the way in Venice in Italy, and just kind of develops a love for the quaintness of the city and her time off and the people that she meets. And then one of these people that she meets is actually a shop owner who she runs into a few times actually, and gets this gorgeous red vase, that vase maybe, I don't know. It depends on how fancy it is, right? I think that's how you pronounce it incorrectly or correctly. I don't know. But Summertime right here, you see that romance kind of gather as we're going out throughout the film. And this actually just reminded me of Brief Encounter a little bit, which David Lean had done, a decade ago before this, because this came out in 1955. So where there's a little bit of some of those etchings that exist in that. And I can really tell that David Lean has a sensibility to him in his direction, where he has these subtle hints of like, should they, shouldn't they? And I really, really enjoyed that. I thought this was a really fantastic film, and seeing Katharine Hepburn in this was just fantastic. She was great in it, and it was just really compelling seeing somebody go through something like this in a seemingly, kind of fairy tale-esque manner, but at the same time, it doesn't all work out all the time. So you'll see the film if you haven't seen it. But I highly recommend Summertime if you've not seen this film. It's definitely worth a watch, and it's high recommendation. If I was peer pressured into it, you should too. Summertime, it's a delightful film. All right, so next is a film, actually, that I was already naturally going to try to watch because I've been trying to watch all of the Radiance releases that have come out. So the Radiance release I'm talking about right now is A Moment of Romance. It's actually in the title, right? Romance is in the title. This is spy number 23, which is actually my lucky number, so good for that. But this is a film from 1990. It's a Cantonese film, and it is a gorgeous blend of action and romance. So this film is actually starring Andy Lau from Internal Affairs and Chen Lian Wu from Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. And this is actually just a romance between pretty much like a triad member and somebody who is protecting her because she's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was forced to, like, hey, you need to kill her because she's seen too much. She's been involved in something that is not worth keeping alive. So he falls for her and takes her hostage, and started running from the triad. And there's all these different sides. There's like triangles, one side, the other, and then another side. It's all over the place, and it's quite an action-packed film. In fact, this is actually probably primarily action-oriented, but there is also a lot of romance in the background as well. It definitely has some Wong Kar-wai tendencies that I suppose that are in this film as well. But it's just a really great film, and apparently this is like one of the first times it came out on Blu-ray, I believe. And so I'm very excited and very happy that Radiance was able to put this film out because it was just a really good time. And if you're in the mood for something a little bit more action paced and get a little bit of a romance, this is definitely the one to check out. If you're going to pick out any of these films I'm going to be talking about today, this is the action packed one. It's a moment of romance, and Radiance, you did a great job with this. It's got great features, and highly recommend everyone check it out. It's on all regions, so go check it out. All right, so next is a film I've actually seen a lot of times. I love this movie, and I watch it usually when I'm kind of feeling down, or maybe I just wanted to rewatch it because it's a great movie. And I'm talking about Crazy Stupid Love right here. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Steve Carell, Julianne Moore, Marissa Tomei, Kevin Bacon are all in it too. What an insane cast, right? There's an insane concept too. Steve Carell and Julianne Moore are married for quite some time, and at the very, very beginning of the film, Julianne Moore wants a divorce. Steve Carell jumps out of a car, as it's still going, and it goes from there. Mainly that catalyst kind of sets into the place where, okay, Steve Carell needs to bounce back off of his feet. He's been going to a bar left and right all the time, and Ryan Gosling is there, who is, a hustler of sorts, just picks up ladies every night, and he eventually catches the eye of Steve Carell just being all sad and mopey the entire time, being cuckolded, as Steve Carell would say, they develop a friendship. They develop a way to, where Steve Carell can actually, get his mojo going, I guess. But it's a really funny film. There's a lot of interactions. That's just the basic plot synopsis. If you've seen this movie, I know you should love it, hopefully. But it's just a really great time. There's a lot of... It's got a really good sensibility to it. It's got a really great energy, even though it's a really messed up situation with everybody in this. There's a lot of... how I mentioned love triangles in the last film I talked about? This one, the people who are in all of these love triangles of sorts, it's very muddled. There's a lot going on, and I didn't even mention half the cast. So anyway, Crazy Stupid Love. I love this movie, and I really enjoyed rewatching this, and I highly recommend it. So definitely check it out if you've not seen it. What are you doing? All right, so next is a film that I've been actually wanting to watch for quite some time now, but I never was able to find it out in the wild. So eventually I got it on Amazon, and I'm talking about the film Notting Hill. So Notting Hill is Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant, and Julia Roberts is a really famous star, and she just accidentally shows up in Hugh Grant's bookshop, his travel bookshop. He doesn't actually sell anything that has that's Dickens or Stoker or any of the famous writers that most people know, right? Or just even fiction or nonfiction. There's just none of that there. So Julia Roberts, her character is trying to stay away from the paparazzi, runs into him actually multiple times on accident with a coffee, and then a romance starts to blossom a little bit. But here's the thing, she's not the greatest person in the world, and Hugh Grant is kind of a gullible guy who is just constantly kind of going with it. It's yeah, maybe I shouldn't be with this person, but at the same time, it's I'm trying to think of what her name actually is in this film. Anna Scott is actually the actress's name, and he wants to be with Anna Scott. He wants to be around her. But this has a lot of funny moments as well. Just very much like Crazy Stupid Love, there's a lot of really great situations where you just lose it because of the interactions, how funny it is. They talk about some just crazy stuff in here, and I love the out of the blue references that just come out. It's just a lot of fun. And there's also a really great roommate in here. And when I say really great roommate, not a really great roommate. He's just one of the worst. And why can't I think of it's Rhys Ifans, who is a Welsh actor. I probably said his name incorrectly, but man, what a character. But this is a hilarious movie. It's been a long time. This one kind of just hit at the home just perfectly, and I really enjoyed it. So Notting Hill, I'm glad I was able to finally watch it, and I really enjoyed it quite some time, so I can't wait to rewatch it again. All right, so the next two films are actually, I did a double feature that day, and it's actually directed by one of our favorite directors, Billy Wilder, and these are some 1940s films that he directed. So actually, this is from Arrow Video and Eureka, respectively, so we're going to talk about the Arrow first, and I watched The Major and the Minor right here. So Arrow Academy, defunct now, but we have Ginger Rogers and Ray Milland, who are in this film. Ray Milland was in several Billy Wilder films, but this is one where, very much as the title suggests, there's a major who is Ray Milland's character in the army, and then also you have Ginger Rogers' character who is the minor, who kind of on accident, not on purpose, tries to sneak away and as disguised as a kid. A very obvious ploy, like you can clearly tell that she's not a kid, but the way she like talks and has like a sucker, like a lollipop, and just talks like very much in the old-timey 40s kind of kid way, right? And somehow tricks this guy and is like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure you're getting home to your parents and make sure you're okay. And hijinks ensues. It's Billy Wilder film, so there's a lot of really funny moments and there's a lot of really quippy dialogue going back and forth. And at the end, you slowly start to understand that clearly she's not a minor, and they're of similar age and actually enjoy each other's company. It's a weird concept, especially from today's standards, but I really enjoyed the movie though. It's a lot of fun, and definitely has some really funny moments in it too. So yeah, definitely recommend checking this film out if you've not seen it. This is the Region B release I have from Arrow Academy. I don't know if it's available on Region A, but definitely check it out if you've not seen it before. All right, so the next Billy Wilder film we're going to be talking about is from Eureka. This is actually spine number 232. This came out actually not too long ago. It is A Foreign Affair. This is starring Jean Arthur, Marlene Dietrich, and John Lund. What a cast, right? Especially Marlene Dietrich, who is definitely a little bit later on in her career. And she is actually this is post-World War II, so they're occupying, the space here where Jean Arthur's character, who is, sent from the U.S. Congress, I think, of sorts, and then John Lund, who is like a major, maybe a corporal of some sort, who is he's a captain. I was completely wrong. Captain John Pringle, actually, he's kind of a piece of shit in this, because he's just playing Marlene Dietrich's character, who is, an ex-Nazi, German sympathizer, who just sees him on the side, but she also sings at this nightclub, and she's wonderful. There's a lot of sequences that are there that are really, really great, and they're a lot of fun. But Jean Arthur's character is also, very by the books, very bookish, and very to the point, and definitely doesn't want to do any nonsense, and then eventually gets into nonsense with John Lund in a very creepy scene, to be honest. Somehow it works, right? There's a lot of implication stuff going on here, and that's probably a little bit more of the, uncomfortable part about this movie. That is one thing I would warn people about. It's a little bit like, ooh, yeah. But at the same time, the dialogue and the interactions definitely overshadow that, and makes it a fun time. It's a fun movie. It's definitely one that I think is one of the better, underrated Billy Wilder films that I haven't, talked about much at all. But I really love the cast, and I love everybody in it, pretty much except for John Lund, who is kind of a piece of shit. And so, but besides that, Foreign Affair. It's a fun movie, and go check it out on Eureka. This is also a Region B release, so don't know if you can pick it up in the States, but it's a fun movie, so check it out. All right, so next we're going to go to the 1960s to 1964 to a film that is very lavish and very fantastical of sorts. And I'm talking about Paris When It Sizzles right here. William Holden and Audrey Hepburn. So William Holden is this writer who is just stuck. He cannot think of how to finish this project, and Audrey Hepburn's there to kind of help him come up with ideas, and also type out these ideas as these things happen. So they're set like that, and they're in Paris, of course, as the title suggests. And the film is primarily them, kind of imagining all these scenarios of what this could be, right? What this thing that he's writing, and it's very interesting because it starts eventually become reality of sorts, and so they start actually developing a romance for each other based on the stories that they're telling each other, and it's very sweet in that sense, and I kind of enjoy it for that. But there's not much substance here besides that, but it is a fun film nonetheless, and it is definitely a delightful afternoon movie that you should check out if you're just having a couple hours just to relax in the afternoon and have a coffee. I think this is a really fun and delightful film, and Audrey Hepburn is always amazing, and I love pretty much everything she's done. So, all right, so next we're going to get to the heavy hitters of sorts, some more recent films. In fact, this next movie is actually the screenplay is actually by Alex Garland, which I found out after the fact, which I thought was wild. But it's directed by Mark Romanek, and it came out, 2010. So this is an early Andrew Garfield film. It also has Keira Knightley and Carey Mulligan in it, and it's called Never Let Me Go. And this film you learn fairly early on in the film, maybe 20 or 30 minutes in, this really horrifying concept that's happening in this boarding school that all of them are at as their children. And then it kind of flash forwards a little bit after that fact and talks about this love triangle that's been going on for a long time. So Keira Knightley and Andrew Garfield's character they fall in love fairly early in the film, and Carey Mulligan's always been like that third wheel, but also loves Andrew Garfield, and that's kind of where the catalyst of the romance comes in. But there's that concept, like I talked about, that science fiction kind of dystopian concept, which is really crazy, and I don't want to spoil it for you if you've not seen this movie. But I really enjoyed it. It makes sense after watching this movie that I see Alex Garland's name here, and seeing a sci-fi concept like that in a romance like this. I would say it doesn't feel fully fleshed out, or like there's like the emotions are not all there. There's a lot of the characters I don't really feel too much for. Maybe that was by design of the film itself, and like what's the the thing that I'm trying to skirt, right? There's the concept that I'm trying to skirt. Maybe that was on purpose, but there was a lack of emotion that I felt going on in this film. But like I said, it might be purposeful. So, but I definitely recommend people check this movie out if they've never seen it before. Never Let Me Go. It's a fun time. Maybe fun's the wrong word, but it's definitely worth a watch, and definitely you should check it out. All right, so last is probably the hardest film to watch, and is one that I just watched today. So started the day off right? And I am talking about the film Amor. This is directed by Michael Haneke, who I actually have not seen any of his films yet, which is kind of wild because I know there's a lot of his films on Criterion, Funny Games being probably the biggest one that a lot of people know. But I've never seen any films from him, but I wanted to start off with this one. This is a Sony Pictures Classic release. This came out in 2012, which was actually one of my favorite years of movies, especially back in the day, right, 11 years ago. But this is actually starring Jean-Louis Trintignant, who we've seen several times. I love him in pretty much everything he's in. Isabelle Hubert and Emmanuel Riva. Fantastic cast. I love this cast, and it's a very minimal cast because it's really about a couple. We have Jean-Louis Trintignant and Emmanuel. Their names is Georges and Anne, respectively. They have loved each other for their entire life, and at the very, very early stages of this, they're having, a meal together, and all of a sudden, Anne's character just kind of goes blank, and you can see where this is going. When she goes blank having the conversation, you can kind of see that dementia, that slip come through, and it really affects Georges and their dynamic. And slowly, as the movie progresses, you see that decline, that mental, decline, and then also just like the cognitive decline. You're not seeing the same person that you knew, and so that's 2 hours of this movie. Pretty much it's a very gut-wrenching film because you're seeing something that you love kind of crumble before you. So, but it's a very also sweet film because obviously, they love each other for so long. That's you see the means that somebody would go for just to take care of them, and it's an incredible film. It's bittersweet. It's really sad, but at the same time, it's highly recommendable. I definitely recommend Amor and checking this film out. So with that being said, I'm still gonna watch maybe some more romance films. I might actually check out this one right here. The Before trilogy. I might rewatch those because love those movies, and kind of want to end. Well, I guess Before Midnight doesn't end on a great note, but regardless, what have you been watching? I would love to know in the comment section down below. If you've seen any of these films, I would love to know your thoughts on them too. A lot of these movies, besides Crazy Stupid Love, I think was a first-time watch. So yeah, I had a good time watching all these films, and September should be for romance. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Give it a like, share, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.